Well, somebody needs to tell Jocelyn what the after class is thing.
Okay, I'll start with that. I'll start with a nice broad opening and kind of give us a feel for what we're doing here so everyone knows. I'm going to go ahead and mute you all, but you always know that if you want to participate, you go ahead and unmute yourself. This is an open conversation between all of us. So Jocelyn, welcome. I see that you do state that you have been on these calls before, but perhaps there are some students that are completely new to the low-hanging system. So we want to welcome you. The beautiful thing is that we continue to onboard students every day, lots and lots of students. And then the students that were once new, right? Patricia, it feels like, just a couple of months, right? Once new, now have experience and are willing to share their knowledge. So the daily success calls are all about setting the right mindset. So we talk about different topics that I choose, that I present, and maybe you can give a guess of what we're talking about today. I changed my background. And so, can you see it, Patricia? And we then have an open conversation. So I present the topic, then we have an open conversation between the students and anyone that wants to participate, and just kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So share from our life experience and uplift each other. And it does bring that supportive energy. And we are like an extended family. We are like a group of friends chatting. Yesterday, we know lots of things about each other's life. So, Chikwemeka was checking up on Patricia and what's going on, because we have these shares that are very personal. But then we share this beautiful space, and we hold that energy in our heart, and it goes with us throughout our day. And then we use that, it fuels us. We use that to build our business, to become better people, to realize the dreams that we're set out to do. So that's what we do on those calls in a nutshell, really. And you are welcome. It's every day the same time. I saw that you didn't find the link, and you say that you also got an accountability rep. Great. The accountability rep is fantastic to lead you through the next steps. You've probably just joined the accelerator process, which is a fabulous process. And your accountability rep will be sending you some videos to watch and then do some homework. And at the end of that process, you'll meet up with either John Lavinia or myself for a business strategy session, where we kind of go over things for setting up your business plan, defining your goals if you haven't already, really getting very, very clear on where you're headed. And of course, the Launch 100 program is then presented to you at the end of that process. So we're excited to be here on a Wednesday. It is November 17th. It feels like November is moving ultra fast. I don't know what about y'all, but I mean, I can't believe that we're at mid-November. That's just like, where is the time gone? And something that I've been also noticing in my life, and just kind of reading up on it and talking to friends here, it feels like it's not just me. So I thought this would be a good topic for us to discuss. And I'm talking about waves. Why did I say that you could look at my background? But this idea that life moves in waves. So you can notice, for instance, waves of emotions. Emotions can be on a spectrum, and on one end, you can be super happy, high, blissful, just really, really vibing off of life. And at the other end of the spectrum, you can feel at a low and not even motivated to get out of bed. I mean, there are depths to that low, but each one can experience that. And I feel that, these past couple of weeks have been almost like this roller coaster of ups and downs and ups and downs. And I think that it is very reflective to the time period that we're in, November, December, where it's really, we're asked to ramp it all up. And I think that we felt that also on these calls with a couple of the shares that were yesterday, or 2 days ago, that kind of stayed with me, where, maybe we're not engaging as much as we want to engage, and we believe that we're able, and we know that we're about to do. That kind of set me on a thought process of this idea of a wave. And so with a wave, if we think about a traditional wave, like a wave of the ocean, we have this huge body of water, this beautiful ocean, which looks infinite when you're looking, on a vessel at the middle of the ocean, and it looks just never ending. And when the waves start to form, they seem as though they're part of this body of water, and they're just, going up and going down, going up and going down. The interesting thing about a wave is that no two waves, even though it's the same body of water, no two waves are ever the same. They're not comprised of the same amount of water droplets. They're never exactly the same. And that's very interesting because it's really a metaphor for life, because, you know, we're trying to catch a wave like this fourth quarter. This is a wave. Everyone's shopping, everyone's buying, everyone's engaged. People have set money aside to buy from you. So you're riding this wave of an upward current, and you're trying to really get as much as you can out of it. Now let's think about how that reflects on how we're engaging with that wave. So if now we're the surfer and we're in the middle of that wave and we're trying to ride the wave and stay on it for as long as we can, this relates to our talk yesterday, that idea of focusing, of staying, you know, of really breathing into that space and moving with the wave, not resisting, because the moment you start resisting or being rigid, or, you know, you're going to fall off the surfboard. So you really have to flow with it, and you have to be able to, you know, invite that wave, that energy into your body, like the frequency, you know, the wave, if you think about another word to think about it, it is like a frequency, a vibration. There are some other words that you can change it with, like a wavelength, a sound. One second, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, you know, you're riding that wave and inviting that energy into your body. And that's how you stay as long as you can on the surfboard. You don't become rigid, you don't close off, you don't shut down, you stay open, you're navigating with it, and you feel the actions in your body. So, you know, that's a powerful way to relate to it. Now, if we bring it closer to home and not, you know, we leave the ocean for a moment and we think about all the waves that are around us, you know, there are radio waves around you right now, around you at this moment that you can't see. There are radio waves, there are microwaves, there are all kinds of different energetic, I mean, the sun rays, right? The ultraviolet waves that are coming at you all the time. So we're surrounded with this hyped energy. We're surrounded with this, it's energy all around us all the time. And, you know, we can then choose to get a radio and tune into the radio, the station that we're listening to, the wavelength, the radio waves. We can harness the energy of the sun and you know, use it for electricity for our house. That's a real thing. This is real energy that we can use for us. So now when we kind of relate it back to our own body and our own life, when we think about these ups and downs that we're going through, which was what some of the students had mentioned on the call 2 days ago, how can we harness that energy even when we're at the low? Even when we're at the low, harness the energy that we know we're about to rise high, that we know we're about to pull through, because we understand that life is a series of waves. It's a series of these ups and downs, and versus just kind of, you know, freezing or closing off or waiting, right? Oftentimes we're just waiting. Okay, well, it's not the right time just now. You know, I've got to move a couple of things around. I got to redo, I got to readjust. It's not, I'm getting there, but I'm not right there. We hear that all the time. How about we harness this moment, which is the fourth quarter for our business? Now we're bringing it real close. It is the fourth quarter. We are on a tidal wave, a tsunami, really, if you think about it. This is the tsunami of the year for our business, for our online e-commerce business. You know, this is the moment. And so can we, even if we're feeling at the lower point of the wave, can we still harness that energy, use it in order to uplift ourselves, to pull ourselves out of that place where we are in, and have the trust that we're going to emerge out into that big wave, that tidal wave. And I used as my image here a classic wave, but I prepared ahead of time some other types of waves that we can find in nature. So this is like, you know, isn't that beautiful, right? I saw Patricia open her mouth and go, wow. And so beautiful, because the waves are all around us. The waves are not just out far away from ourselves. Yeah, I know. I didn't say hi to anybody. I got right into it. I'm going to say hi at the end of my opening. But it is exciting to start to acknowledge and to see where we can notice different waves in our surroundings. So even our body, by the way, is a huge wave. So if you think about the curve of your head and the back, and then, that's an outer going wave, and then the C curve of the cervical spine coming inwards, and then the thoracic spine rounding back out, the lumbar curve coming back in, and then the mounding of the glutes out. So you have that wave like action going. So it's in your body, it's in your physical existence. You have these patterns, and, we're really able to draw on these energies and use them, just like we use infrared waves for night vision cameras, right? Or we use long range, communication devices for our cell phones, right? That's how we kind of communicate with mobile devices. So this is something that is known and is harnessed. I gave you the solar example of solar panels, harnessing the energy of the sun to power your home, or a whole city. You can power factories, whatever you want to do. And so radios always come back to mind. I love that analogy, because we really are, even with these calls, what are we doing? We're tuning ourselves to the right frequency. We're tuning ourselves to the part on the wave that we can ride with the most proficiency, right? Where we're aligned, or we're in tune with what is going on around us. And that's exciting. And does it take revisiting? Yes, it does. Does it mean that, once we ride the high of the wave, then we're just going to stay there forever? No, that's ridiculous. Even weather, climate moves in waves. The seasons are waves of, yesterday we were talking a lot about weather around the world, where we had people that were snowed in. Oh, is she here today with us? Amber's here. Yeah, I wonder, you should fill us in after this. How is it going? And so that's a wave. So Amber knows that she is going to pull out of that. She knows that it's a wave that's coming. And hopefully she is, has the supplies and what she needs to ride out the storm and I want to be exact on my words, because Amber won't just hunker down and freeze down and just wait for it to pass. No, that's not what we're asking. That's not what it's about. It's about tuning into what's going on around you and riding the wave. So, if it's climate related, then you're going to have your wood for your fire. You're going to make sure that your house is warm. You got supplies. Your internet is working. You're ready to go. You're uploading the mugs. You're getting it done. Amber shared a lot of her advice, on how to get how to navigate the day and make sure that we are getting the most out of our day. If you didn't watch that, you can watch the recording on YouTube. We are broadcasting live on YouTube. So that's really interesting. And so that's kind of where I want us to bring our talk around. So what I'd like you to share, and I'll just keep a couple of moments to say hello after this, but what I'd like you to share is, first of all, are you feeling these tidal waves, like these ups and downs, and kind of navigating that? And if not specifically now, maybe you can share from your life. And then how, with skillful, you're applying the wisdom that you've learned in your past to navigate these situations, to pull yourself into this new wave. Are you acknowledging that we are on this tsunami, this tidal wave that is the fourth quarter? Do you acknowledge it? Do you honor it? Do you see it? Are you willing to participate with this wave that's happening right now, right? And Scott always reminds me, we have another wave coming in Valentine's. We have another wave coming after that. Of course, we know it. We're saying it. But are you willing to participate in this coming wave? And if so, how are you doing it? And also, you can share, do you relate to this topic? Do you see waves in nature? I mean, and I didn't even touch on the bigger waves, which we can notice in the ocean, but what about those tiny ripples, right? That just kind of float on by as you're watching any body of water, and how they affect the whole body of water, right? How we as a group here, everyone participating and just sharing a drop of their life, how we create these ripples in other people's lives, and how we're able to then, really give them from ourselves, from our essence, and uplift them and just, keep us going, fueling, which relates to what Jocelyn was talking about in the beginning. All right, I said a lot. Let's just say hello here. Alec is here again. Great to see you. Alyssa and Alora. Amber is here. Fantastic. Anne is here. Great to see you, Anne. think we missed you yesterday. Oh no, you were there yesterday. You just didn't speak. I saw you. Arlene and Bonnie are here. Catherine, Kathy's here. Great to see you, Kathy. Chukwamaka from the UK, as stable as ever. Love to see you on the calls here, and staying with it. You're in it to win it. Deborah's here. Great to have you here. Elizabeth and Evelyn. Gail, our accountability rep, our fabulous accountability rep, is here. Jem. Oh, it's been a while, Jem. Good to see you. Gloria, Jamie, and Jay, and Jason. Hey, and Jones. Jocelyn's here. Great to have you. And Justin. Yeah, I remember you, Jocelyn. You used to come onto my calls a long time ago, right? I remember your picture here. All right, Justin is here. Ketelin, Christine, Lavandi, welcome. That's a new name for us. Layanne, great to see you. Liana's here. Great to have you, Liana. Lisseth, I don't know if I'm not saying that name right. And Liz and Maggie and Marcia. We've got so many students with us today. It's really fabulous. Natasha, Nicole, Nadea, Pat, Patricia, double Patricia. Patrick, Patty. All right, it's welcome everyone. Scott's here. Sibu again from middle of the night. So we honor you, and Zita and Timete. What a beautiful name. All right. That's everyone that I managed to kind of gather from the screen. Yeah, right. Jocelyn, I recognize you now that I saw the picture. I'm glad to find you again. Great to see you here. I remember. All right. So if I struck a chord, there you are, Lavandi. I love it. Good to see you. First time on your accountability rep, on the daily success call. You can unmute yourself here. I'll ask to unmute you. There
Can
we
you
go.
guys hear?
Yes.
Do I have sound? Good.
You have sound. Yeah.
No, I've been here for a while now, actually. And
Okay.
I usually watch the replays on YouTube.
Okay.
But with the whole wave thing, a while back you were saying that the tide and the moon are connected because of science. And I didn't really get that. So I actually had to do some research and learn things about that, which was interesting. So when you said that that's connected to our body, because you said that we're made up of whatever % water, what did you mean exactly by that?
Okay, let me clarify. That's good to say. So that's, science is the moon controls the tides coming in and going out.
Yeah.
That's science,
Yeah.
that's done, and then you have, like astrology and that kind of understanding, which is not.
I have a macaw.
That's okay. So, which is not scientifically proven. So it doesn't scientifically say that the moon affects your body. However, and I've worked with many students, and we talked about this on one of our calls as well, that you can feel the effect, like a full moon, especially if you're working with children or you're working with special needs.
It makes sense because when people say like crazy people, like, the full moon, like all the crazies are out, like it makes sense. And I was like, so many things make sense.
Right. So we have to, I have to be careful because I am broadcasting live. We got 57 people on a call,
I'm crazy.
So that's it's not backed up by science. If you get the
it's not backed up by science.
Scientists to say, no, the moon doesn't affect us at all. But I mean, if you live your life long enough, then you kind of see that the moon affects you. And, especially if you're a woman and you have your cycles, and you can kind of see that. And it's just like, you get into, he's beautiful. What's his name?
His name is Raja.
I love it. So yeah, so that's kind of where I go. And I when I'm thinking logical, because I like to stretch my brain and not just take things as they're given to me by science, but we think outside of the box. And I say, okay, my body's water. I have minerals in them. That's similar to the ocean. All right, why would I not be affected? So that's kind of where I give that opening. It's kind of a reasoning to why, but is it science? And
it's just like like us as humans, we have our own normal cycles. I don't know about you guys, but I've been having miracle mornings. I don't know if anyone's reading that, but if you're not, you should
all be reading. Yeah,
Miracle mornings. I see a lot of question mark faces on, but
we should all be reading. It's part of the reading list. Yeah.
Yeah, it is part of the reading list, and it's good. It is good. I'm having miracle mornings, everybody.
Love it. Thanks for speaking up. Great to have you back.
Thanks.
And we got Scott with his hand lifted. I'm going to shift my background again. So I'm going to give you another type of wave.
Give me another wave, Karen. Another wave.
Go ahead, Scott.
I love your topic. I love your topic about waves and stuff. science and all that stuff. And then I'm liking how
You got a chupacabra.
Lavon D, I guess is how we want to say that. No? Yeah. Yeah. How she's talking about, the frequencies of our bodies and our grounding mechanisms that we have to the earth and all this stuff. And, I'm a fairly spiritual person in this area. So, but I'm also very scientific at the same time, And so these waves that you talk about, like, so the little ones that you wake up with in the morning that motivate you, I don't know about sometimes I have, when I'm waking up, this other wave that's hitting me. It's like always, it's this area of where I'm in the realm of between the worlds, and I'm like not attacked by stuff, but it's that subconscious area that comes in and hits me every day when I'm having doubts or the movement I have to go on to do it again. And then I get up and I feel all refreshed again. And that's a new wave. And so each day presents me with a new wave, and that miracle morning, that lusciousness that we all look forward to, in my opinion, is a super duper thing, but frequency is another type of wave, and, and that's a little bit different. But when you start talking about gamma rays, well, that's a frequency, when we start talking about radio frequencies, ultra frequencies, there's just so many different ones, and they all have different waves. And then you can manipulate them and turn them into a circle if you want, or an elliptical. It's incredible what you, yeah, kind of like, yeah, there you go. The spirograph, great elliptical device. But anyways, that was my share on that one, because I do believe that we are all in a wave of some sort. And that's those cycles.
Right. It's beautiful, Scott. I'm very glad that you spoke, because you brought, so many more, almost like, razor sharp kind of, here's the dot. Okay, now here are the waves. And you talked about, sine waves, or, the different frequencies that we can identify, even in music, right? You like to associate with music. So music is all about the waves, the sound waves, the frequencies, right? And so, and when we say the word cycles, I know how waves and cycles are really, really related, but I specifically chose wave because I think that when we think about cycles, we think about circle, and the circle, is like coming around back at itself. And it's almost like, okay, begin again. Whereas a wave is never the same, ongoing, continuous, right?
But they do have familiarities where you'll see one larger one, and then a smaller one, and a smaller one, and then another larger one. Now the larger one may be bigger than the last larger one, but then again, it has this consistency of the dampening effect of what goes through. And even in all the cycles, even in, I hate going off into this a little bit, but if you look at the financial world and the way that works, I mean, there's so many darn cycles. If we look at, there's so many examples I can give you on the four seasons themselves are a cycle, which I get 4 cycles a season. So it's real.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And to acknowledge that and to understand, and you gave an example, and also Lavandi, about the miracle morning. And it's beautiful to notice how we evolve with this miracle morning when we apply it. So it's like, okay, in the beginning it's new, and we do the things, and then we go again and we go again, and suddenly it becomes second nature, and we're ready to grow that wave, right? If we think about, so I gave you another example from nature of a wave. And nature will always move in this way, with fractals, with waves. It's always revisiting itself. What is a fractal, right? When we talk about that, the fractal looks back on itself, duplicates it, and then grows it into something bigger. And so that's kind of what we're doing in life. We're looking back at our past, at what we've learned to do. We learned from Rachel, get the mugs up, do the integrate the system. And now can we make it even bigger? Can we make it even brighter? Can we honor this wave that we're on right now? This one, the fourth quarter that we're on, that's so big, that's so grand. And can we make the most out of it with everything that we've learned? I like it.
The moment, living and staying in and being in that moment of this wave, riding it when you know you just caught the peak of it, ride it on out and realize, have some wisdom when you should bail.
We're in it to win it. We're not bailing, Scott. We're going all the way.
No, it's going to crash to shore sooner or later, and you should go back and get another one, is what I'm trying to say. Go grab another cycle and keep recycling that and live it.
That's when we hit Valentine's. That's when we hit your Valentine's, right? All right, very good. This is fun. This is fun. I like it. I like it. Let's hear from others. I want to share Lavandi again. Yes, let's hear from you.
Playing the game to win and not to lose. Like playing the game not just to not lose, but playing to win.
Yes, we talked about that on Monday. Were you here?
Yes, I was here. Well, I wasn't here. I watched the video.
To the recording. Okay, great. Wonderful. I love that book, by the way, Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind. It's a great book. Another good one to, what was it?
I said good book. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Mallory came back, hitting this new wave, riding it out. I'm glad to see you here. Anybody else want to share your ideas, your thoughts on this? Hits home, doesn't hit home? You don't have to agree. You can think completely opposite, and I will embrace that. We don't always have to be in sync. If you have something that you want to share, this is a great time before we wrap it up. Jocelyn, my new wave is starting over again. There you go. That is it. Climb back up, get up. It's not about, if we did great in the beginning. Yeah, I see you in the day. It's about riding that wave again. It's about being able to mount the surfboard, right? Like Scott said, it's about to crash. We know that the wave is coming, but I don't want to think it's about to crash. Let's not relate that part to the business, right? Even though we have some highs and lows, we know, but I'm going to get back up on my surfboard and make it there. All right. I see some people are wanting to talk. Timetta, did you want to talk or did you unmute yourself by mistake? I saw your hand.
I unmuted myself, but I didn't know if I was supposed to raise my hand or something.
Yeah, that's okay. Patricia raised her hand. I'm going to let her speak and then we'll come back to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. But how do you do that?
How do you raise your hand? There's a little thing that says reactions. It's a smiley face. If you click on that, the biggest bar on the bottom says raise. There you go.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Patricia, I was hoping I would spark something within you. You got to unmute yourself though. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. I thought I already had. I guess I'm the weird one. I think of the strange things that happen, but they proved about 30 years ago, there was a huge group of people from all over the world that started studying the full moon and what all it did. And they proved that there were more murders, more thefts, more abusive relationships, people getting hurt. The people at that time, we don't have very many of them anymore, but insane asylums, that the people in the insane asylums would just go ballistic and they wouldn't know why on the full moon. And nobody ever told them it was a full moon, but things like that happen. And you brought up the woman's cycle. It's proven that if you have a whole bunch of people, women that work together all the time, we'll all get on the full moon cycle, which is really weird. Then you have a whole bunch of crazy people. But
you know why that is, Patricia, though. You know why the cycles sync?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's like waves. It's and plus what you said, Scott, that not only are there crashes on the full moons, but that's also when people have made their most money is on the day of the full moon, which is really strange. And if you go not skydiving, but diving in the water on the full night of the full moon, you feel more pressure around you. It's like somebody is hugging you. It's a weird feeling, and not all divers will say that, but a lot of them that are really in sync to it and everything will say, yeah, I always go on the full moon. So that's my side, is that it can be fun and it can be strange at the same time.
I love it.
And my favorite full moon is when you have a huge one and then you have clouds all around it and the clouds are kind of pink. I call it the werewolf moon. That's my favorite. Okay, thank you.
We're approaching the Beaver moon. The full moon is coming in a couple. What is it? On the 19th, I think, maybe tomorrow. No, 2 more days. Yeah. We're approaching the full moon. So, and it is true. The ladies will all sync to the same cycle, which is the same that animals do. And you can imagine in your mind how we do that. And you know what? What's great about acknowledging that, Patricia, is it shows you how connected we really are.
Yeah.
that we're not separate, that we are, part of the same wave, that we're going
Mhm.
through this lifetime together. We're not on our own island, just doing our own thing. We
Mhm.
actually affect each other. I mean, that's something
Yes.
so intimate and so in our own body. It's not anywhere outside of us that we're able to harmonize with someone else on these amazing things that we're able to see. So, I mean, that's just, it's just amazing. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. And it's just something to, I think, when we think about waves of the ocean, we can also think about cycles of breath.
Yes.
And even if you
Yes.
think about the quantities of water in one area, I mean, there's water droplets around us now, all
Mhm.
over. So it's like we're in this almost mini aquarium, right? The ocean is big. We can see it. We can feel the water. We can grip it. We can drink water, whatever. But around us is also water. And the
Yeah,
relationship
more here in
around us
Texas.
all the time. More here in
More
Texas.
here in Texas than anywhere. Yeah.
Did you see the
Well,
sweat?
they said that you can prove the women become in sync, and they say that men do it as well. They just haven't been able to find something in the men's body that can show that they do the same thing if a whole bunch of men are together.
Makes
But
sense.
if you do put a whole bunch of men together and at night on the full moon when they're hunting, that they are more in tune to where all the animals are and what they need to do and everything. My brother has done that with a lot of his friends. They'll go hunting on the full moon for that very
Right.
reason, because they can help each other doing everything. And they don't hunt for sport, they hunt for food.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, and they share all the food with all the towns and everything. So it's a really cool thing to watch. But
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Patricia. I saw somebody's hand go up, but then I lost you. Timete, let's hear from you. And Scott is asking, what is a beaver moon? It's just a name. They name all these different full moons a different name. So the one that's coming is a beaver moon. Oh, there you go. Is a beaver moon. And it's, the myth is like the beavers are more active or whatever. And it's that time where you can kind of see them. Timete. Am I saying your name right? Timete?
Yes, you are. Well, I wanted to come on and propose a question. Well, not propose, ask a question. I did mention something about the Amazon mugs. I mean, I appreciate all the
Oh, okay. Wait, let me stop you
commentary
right
and
here. Let me
everything.
stop you right here. Let me stop you right here. This is not the how-to call. We talk about philosophy here and the topics that we present. However, if you hop on this call right after we're done, you can ask all the questions. I did see your question go into the chat there. But
Okay,
at
so
this
this is
time, when the
strictly
call is
motivation.
ongoing, right, we don't usually offer the advice at this moment, but right after this call, you can, I'm going to end it. You're going to be, kicked off. Then you come right back in, and the students here are happy to help you out with whatever you need, and they'll share their knowledge with you. You also have Adam's coaching calls on Tuesdays and Fridays, where you can ask questions through the duration of the call, and you can also hop on the Facebook and find the answers. But on this specific platform, right at this moment, it's not the how-to questions. All right.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to share about the waves or anything that came up for you?
No, not right now. Thank
Okay,
you.
sounds good. Thanks for speaking up. Nadea, let's hear from you.
Hi. Hello. I'm so excited about this whole conversation.
Hey.
And I'm super excited that you know about the different names. You kind of endorse it because I respect you highly and consider you to be a very highly educated person and all of this other, which you are. And it's nice to hear that the mainstream, the beaver moons and the wolf moon and all these fun things, and the cyclical information. If you guys are on Instagram, I highly recommend following Dr. Chris Lee. He's a neurologist, and he gives a lot of information on his feeds. And I've learned a lot. One of you mentioned the men's cycles. Men do have a testosterone cycle, the testosterone. Men's cycles are like 5 to 40 days. It depends on the guy and what he's going through. And that's hilarious that men hunt better on the full moon. It's like a little shamanistic thing. And I wanted to pipe in and add that, while I'm not Muslim myself, God bless them, I think it's very interesting that a lot of very religious Muslims, they will fast the 3 days of the full moon. And to me, that we're learning about how the moon affects our bodies in like I'm just fascinated about how we're all connected to the earth so closely. And like you said, with each other. So just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. It was kind of hard to hear you at one moment. So if you want to put any of your points, like the person that you were referencing, in the chat, I think that would help others kind of know what you're talking about, because you're kind of breaking in and out a little bit. But yeah, so.
Sure.
Sorry?
I just said, sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause that's, again, you were sounding a little bit like a machine there, but really great to hear from you. Thanks for speaking up, and I'm happy that it's resonating with you and hitting home. And I think it's really, really good for us to stretch our mind and be able to see the cycles that are around us, the waves that are around us, to be able to feel connected in that way, because we feel so isolated and alone and just us, that when we can branch out in that way, it will eventually affect our business as well. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I honor the calendar of the moon. There are different religions. You mentioned a couple that honor the calendar of the moon, and that's kind of how I navigate my month. Alec, let's hear from you.
How you doing, ma'am?
Hey,
Well,
good
it's
to
because
see you.
I liked your way of saying. See, you phrased it. I phrase it a lot different. I use like bumps, hills, mountains. That's my way of just explaining it. And I had well, I like the way it makes sense when you're talking about waves. But I had this situation not too long ago, and it was actually my employer. And I had some medical issues come up, and I just look at his face when he's asking me, like, hey, so what are you gonna do for money from now on? And what are you gonna do for this? And I mean, the only thing I could do was just like look at him and smile and like, come on, man. This is a little bump in the road. You're acting like I haven't gone through mountains. And
Right.
in the sense of, I guess you could first, you're talking about waves and how they rate, whatever. Sometimes I do feel like lessons in life are just lessons in life will come. They will always try to stop you. And it's just I don't know, it just I wouldn't trade a day of my life. I
Good.
wouldn't.
You're right. It is mountains, mountains and valleys and mountains and valleys. And what are mountains and valleys when you look at them in a side cut, right? It's a wave. And so, it's one and the same. And you can reference it however you see fit. I remember my son once said, life is like endless video game. You complete one level and then you just got to go to the next and go to the next and go to the next, and you keep on going and going and going, and it's never ending. It's another kind of way of seeing those things, right? Where you're just kind of continuing that climb, one foot in front of the other. Yeah, but I agree. I like the idea of the wave because it's so relatable to so many things. Like you can see it everywhere. I gave you 3 examples. There were so many more. You can see it on the seashells. You can see it on different fruit. You can see it on vegetables. You can see it in the leaves of the trees. You can see these waves everywhere. And when you begin to, your breath is a cycle of a wave. Inhaling and exhaling, your body, like we described. And so just being able to see life in that way, you don't get too stuck on a moment like you shared. I guess you haven't passed the mountain, right? You're so stuck that this is not going to move. I know I can climb this mountain. I'll get on the other side. So that was a beautiful share. Thank you for speaking up, Alec. Great to hear from you. Timete, looks like you found something you want to share with us. Let's hear from you. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay. All right. So since we're talking about waves and cycles
There you
and
go.
nature and all of that, I'll I guess contribute towards the chat by saying what helps me out a lot is music.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to what is it called? Symphony music for a while, but I do notice like when I'm with someone else who's listening to it, I feel so at peace and calm when I'm listening to that. And so it makes you think about how back then when there was nothing but, that kind of music, how it's contributed to science, education, and, knowledge, for us to gain wisdom from. So, if you, are in like, I guess a little pit like I am sometimes, most of the time, I'll be honest, then I just turn on some music, and listen to that for a while, a long while.
Beautiful. I love that. That's a beautiful analogy. Thank you for bringing that as our closing, because I'm getting chills even just thinking about it. Music is such a powerful thing. Like music affects water. You can literally see it. You can even freeze water droplets and play it to music and see what happens to the crystals that come out of it. And so we are water, and the effect of it on us, is just so profound. I don't know if you've ever seen like cymatics, that you can put salt or sand or whatever on a board and place it on top of a sound box, but that's not the word I'm looking for. A speaker. Thank you. You put it on top and you play sound waves, and then the structure that comes out of the sound, you can Google cymatics after this. It just forms into this beautiful geometric shape, and it's mind blowing. And so the same thing for us. So the effect is real, and using music to uplift you from where you are is an amazing tool. And you know what, you say you're mostly in those lows. Well, then just my invitation is remember that the highs are coming, and maybe not all highs are the same for all people, but we can use the tools that we're given and use our mind to just kind of train ourselves to that we're going to get there. We're climbing this mountain like Alec had offered us. We're climbing it, but the valley's right there. The valley's right there. The summit is there, and we'll have this beautiful view, this higher perspective, this awesome vista where we can look and we can see all the land. We'll just have this beautiful horizon, and we can just marvel in it for a while. So thank you for bringing that up. That's beautiful. And Nadea has something else she wants to share, and then we got to close it up. Let's hear from Nadea.
Okay, I'll talk slower, hopefully, so that helps my poor cell service go. I'm excited you brought up cymatics. And to me, it's kind of proof that, and to tie it in with some of the other things you talk about every now and then, cymatics is an indication, kind of like a little corroboration that like the world was created through sound, or through, some legends say that the world was created through singing. And, there's no way to verify that, but to me, all of that, we're all creators in our own way. And the things that we say to ourselves, kind of off topic, but still, the things that we say to ourselves influence our surroundings. They influence us, our own vibration, and the cycles in our own bodies and minds. And, the things that we have to deal with, like the psychological protector system and all of those things, the things we say and the music we play, it affects us, and it builds our future and our business. That's all.
Yes, I'm putting cymatics in the chat there if anyone wants to Google it and watch a little video on YouTube. It's mind-blowing if you haven't seen it. Really, really awesome. And this was a fabulous conversation. I'm super excited that I got to be here with you on a Wednesday and see all my favorite people. Tomorrow, the fabulous John Lavinia will be back in the house. We're super excited that he's coming back. We've missed him, and he will be leading the Thursday and Friday calls. So I will be back with you on Monday, and it's Thanksgiving week. So we got all these wonderful things to celebrate together throughout the week. Or not, I'm not back with you on Monday. I'm back with you on Tuesday. I'm back to our original schedule. And yeah, thank you all for joining. Thanks for sharing. Join after this call if you want some assistance with your business. Our amazing students, out of the kindness of their heart, they're here after the call to guide you through whatever you need. So please do that. Thank you all, and have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.